Hello, ESL 20, NC ESL 29. I hope you guys are having a great week. This week, I am so excited to introduce you to our last unit, Unit 5, which is self-reflection. Congratulations on being done with Units 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's amazing. All right, so I've been looking forward to Unit 5 all semester. It's my favorite unit, and I hope you guys will enjoy it as well. Let's get started. Okay. So here we are, ESL 20, speaking and listening with me, just like normal. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to do a little bit of a welcome to our new unit, which is self-reflection. We're going to discuss the concept of identity. We're going to focus on self-definition. I'm going to introduce you guys to what's called an honest poem. We're going to listen to a famous honest poet, and then we're going to work on our honest poems on our own. So our unit is called self-reflection. The ability to reflect means the ability to think about and analyze something. So self-reflection means the ability to think about and analyze ourselves. I know that can be a really scary concept, but we are here to be positive, motivating, and supportive. That's what this unit is all about. The concept of identity is what we analyze and reflect on when we do self-reflection. So I just want you to pause this video for a second, speak out loud to the universe or to somebody, and answer these two questions. Actually, for question number 2, how about you make a list of characteristics that you would use to describe yourself? But let's do both. Let's speak out loud and let's write this down for later. So the first question is, what makes up a person's identity? And the second one is, what characteristics would you use to describe yourself, but be honest, okay? Remember, we're doing some self-reflection, so we don't have to only write good qualities. Now, this is just for you, and this is just for an exercise. So pause this video, take a second to brainstorm, write down your answers, speak this out loud, and when you're all set, press play and continue the video. Okay, so at this point, you guys have answered both of these questions and you are ready to move on. So I also did this exercise. Identity this is a really general definition, but it's a noun, what a person or thing is. Okay, that's what I got. And this is how I define myself. I am a daughter, a sister, a wife, a friend, a woman, a teacher, a colleague, a dog mom, friendly, I'm thoughtful, hardworking, I'm a little impatient sometimes, I'm white, I'm American, I'm 30-something, I'm a liberal, I hike, I travel, I love to have fun, I'm an aspiring morning person, which means I'm trying to become a morning person. One of my classes this past semester started at 7:15, so that's really helped me. And I am a want-to-be athlete. I used to play soccer and lacrosse and softball growing up, and I just have not done that for a while. So I want to get back and start working out and doing some athletic stuff. So that's me. And this is not in any sort of order. And there's tons of other things I could use to describe myself, but just thought to leave it as this, like this is for now. So I'm really interested to hearing more about yourselves, and you will share this through your honest poems. So what in the world is an honest poem? An honest poem is where you describe yourself honestly. Now, a poem, there's lots of different ways of writing poems. For our unit, we are going to follow a specific structure. This poem does not need to rhyme. This poem is just going to follow the honest poem structure. And we're going to talk about that in a second. And by the way, your unit project is going to be presenting your honest poem to the class, either via Flipgrid or on Canvas. And I feel like we had a little bit more participation with Flipgrid, so I'm just going to ask you guys to decide. Now, I'm also going to introduce you to Rudy Francisco, who is a famous honest poet. Now, this is Rudy, and he inspired me to include this as our final project. I do not know him personally. Now let's bring up Rudy's poem. So I'm going to read this to you. And I think a poem really depends on the poet and how they wanted it read. So I'm going to read this to you clearly and slowly so we can kind of get the understanding of the meaning. And then I'm going to show you how Rudy presents it via video. All of this is on Canvas. So this is my honest poem by Rudy Francisco. I was born on July 27th. I hear that makes me a Leo. I have no idea what that actually means. I'm 5'6". I weigh 145 pounds. I don't know how to swim, and I'm a sucker for a girl with a nice smile and clean sneakers. A Leo is your astrological sign, so it means when you're born. So I was born in the beginning of September, so I'm a Virgo. A sucker for, this means I love it, and it's my guilty pleasure. I'm still learning how to whisper. I'm often loud in places where I should be quiet. I'm often quiet in places where I should be loud. I was born feet first, and I've been backwards ever since. I like ginger ale a lot. I've been told I give really bad hugs. Let me zoom in. People say it feels like I'm trying to escape. Sometimes I am. Secretly, I get really nervous every time someone gets close enough to hear me breathe. I have an odd fascination, and fascination means something that you are interested in, with things like sand castles and ice sculptures. I assume it's because I usually find myself dedicating time to things that will only last a few moments. That's also why I tend to fall in love with women who will never love me back. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's actually easier than it seems. And to be honest, I think it's safer that way. You see, relationships often remind me that I'm not afraid of heights or falling, but I'm scared to death of everything that's going to happen the very moment my body hits the ground. I'm clumsy. Clumsy means that you make mistakes, you fall, you trip, you break things, you spill things. I'm clumsy. Yesterday, I tripped over my self-esteem, landed on my pride, and it shattered like an iPhone with a broken face. Now I can't even tell who's trying to give me a compliment. I've never been in the military, but I have this purple heart. I got it from beating myself up over things I can't fix. So lines like this are very metaphorical. They're not literal. And a purple heart is something in the military that people receive for being very brave. It's an honor. I know it sounds weird, but I wonder what my bed sheets say when I'm not around. I wonder what the curtains would do if they found out all the things I've done behind their back. I have a hamper that's overflowing with really loud mistakes, and a graveyard in my closet. I'm afraid that if I let you see my skeletons, you'll grind my bones into powder and get high off my fault lines. Hamper is something that you put dirty clothes in. And this is actually a reference to drugs. Hi, my name is Rudy. I enjoy frozen yogurt, people watching, and laughing for absolutely no reason at all. But I don't allow myself to cry as often as I need to. I have solar power confidence and a battery-operated smile. My hobbies include editing my life story, hiding behind metaphors, and trying to convince my shadow that I'm someone worth following. I love this line right there. You see, I don't know much, but I do know this. I know that heaven is full of music, and I know that God, he listens to my heartbeat on his iPod. It reminds him that we still got work to do. So solar power means that it comes from the sun. Battery operated means it comes from batteries, electronics. So that was me reading Rudy's poem to you guys. I think let's hear it from him. Okay, so as you guys can see, he spoke a little bit more quickly than when I spoke. So his honest poem, that this document is on Canvas. A link to his video is on Canvas. And also, let me see, the honest poem outline is on Canvas. So what you guys are going to be doing is starting on, excuse me, starting to create your honest poem. So what I would like you to do for, what I would like you to do is to complete part 1 and complete part 2. Now, this is our structure, and please follow our structure. Okay, it's important that at the end of the semester there's some sort of cohesion amongst all of our poems. So you need to complete this. Sorry, been having a lot of Zoom meetings today. So you're going to complete part 1, and you're going to complete part 2. Now, I have gotten permission from one of my previous classes to show you example honest poems. So if we go on Canvas, we can see, and please don't worry about these PowerPoints, I'm going to delete them and they're not for us for today. But there is the honest poem directions, Rudy Francisco's honest poem, the outline that you're going to be following, and then examples. So when you click into the examples portion, it's, I think, 17 honest poem examples from previous students. And the font got a little bit confusing, so the page numbers might not be completely accurate depending on your computer. So I've gotten permission from all of these students, and you can read through and see what they've written. It's amazing, you guys. All of you are poets already. So let's look at a few examples. Now, this part 1, it says, I was born on blank. That means that you would write the day that you were born, okay? I would write, I was born on September 7th. One line about the significance of that day or season. So I was born on Labor Day, which is a holiday in the United States, and you actually don't go to work. So I would probably write something about that. One thing you don't know how to do. This can be funny, this can be serious, this could be meaningful. And I'm a sucker for, remember, sucker for means you really like it. And you're going to use this pattern, A, and you can get rid of the A if you need to, if you want to put a plural noun, like I'm a sucker for ice cream with brownies and hot fudge. I'm a sucker for a friend with a kind smile and honesty. Okay. Part 2, I'm still learning how to blank. What are you guys still learning how to do? And then 2 lines commenting on what you've learned. If possible, make it compare and contrast. So he said, I'm still learning how to whisper. I'm often loud in places where I should be quiet. I'm often quiet in places where I should be loud. So if you can, and it works for you, try to make them contrast in that way. I was born blank, and I've been blank ever since. Sometimes students have a confusing time with this. Try your best. And just know that anything you write can always be changed or edited, okay? So this is not due until our final week. So this is going to be a learning process, and I will ask you to edit your poems many times, okay? So this is just your first draft. Now let's take a look at some examples. So these are 2 examples from 2 of my previous students, and this is just for part 1. So I was born on January 30th. It was a very cold winter day before the spring festival. I don't enjoy cooking, but I love to eat, and I'm a sucker for a hot pot with a lot of beef and vegetables. I love that. It's so good. Example 2. This is a different person talking, writing for part 1. I was born on, and it should have been on, but that's totally fine. I was born on September 15th. I hear that it was my country's Independence Day. That makes me a Virgo, which means so picky, critical, and attention to details. I don't know how to swim. Actually, I'm so afraid of the ocean. And I'm a sucker for sour fruits with salt and lemon. It's so nice. It's so perfect. So write something about yourself. Yeah, this can be about 4 to 5 lines, but please follow the structure. And then here's 2 different students for part 2. I'm still learning how to cook. I often overcook the food. I often undercook the food. I was born at 3 a.m. and I've been a night person ever since. That's so cool. Example 2. I'm still learning how to use a computer. I use it, but I'm not crazy about it. Also, I'm afraid to use the MacBook, even though I want to use it. I was born at lunchtime, and I've liked to eat ever since. Yes. So good. It's so, so good. Okay, so your work, your assigned work is to complete part 1 and part 2. If you would like to complete more than those, go ahead. And next time we will talk about some pronunciation and then part 3 and part 4. So yeah, work on these 2 parts. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next time. All right, you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.